known back in 2016 as the European Grand Prix. I'm Brett Keenan, bringing you coverage of the F3 Championship with a handful of F3 and invitational drivers at the helm. We've had quite a bit of a twist around in the last few rounds this week, and of course we have a few new drivers also taking to the foray. Now, there is actually one person that I haven't invited yet. I just remembered the name. I just had to click on it. I just got to see. There he is right there. So I'll make sure he's there as well. So thanks to those starting to take part in the broadcast and watching everything that's taking place. Just for those who are going to be watching from the it's basically sorry, I just messaging a few people at the moment on Discord and my partner on Messenger. So anyway, just waiting for the drivers to start making their way onto the grid. Oh, there's actually another person I haven't invited yet, but I'm sure he'll be more than willing to take part. I'll just search him down in the thing. Don't worry, Bailey, we're coming. We're gonna get everyone in. Don't worry about that. I just need to find a couple more people and then we're going to get underway. I'm hoping, now that I can see someone is online at the moment, they're going to join me in the comm box. So we are going to just go temporarily offline for a second, video-wise, just so I can go into this thing and bring this person in. So currently on air, 5 people watching, 1 comment, which was Bailey saying that I am coming. So no sexual pun there. Anyway, I'm so sorry. Anyway, hang on, I just need to clear something up for a second. Just still getting through all the car situation sorted out. I'll just hold fire for a minute. I'm just gonna go to game chat and Alex, out of the Red Bull. Get in the Merc. The Red Bull is taken by another driver. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. We just had to clarify a few things. Just still trying to find out where some of our actual drivers are. So, waiting to see what takes place with that. I'm getting a lot of notifications at the moment, so I do apologise. Just checking a few things. I apologise. So there is going to be a 10-minute delay. That much I can tell you guys, because Michael Poland is on his way, and we expect to see him relatively soon. Yep. I mean, the thing about it is that we don't have much in the way, and I'm hoping that my fellow partner in crime, Guy Tasker, does show up to join me in the comm box. I just need to... Anyway, so yeah, so we've got a lot happening around us. I'm just trying to figure out how many people we've got. We've got 14 plus myself is 13. Just trying to think of what's... I just got to try and think of the placement for these drivers. Yeah, so I just got to figure this out. So, okay, so I'll do this for a second. Bear with me. All right, Sebastian Forcindia, Eduardo Williams. Eduardo, can you please go Williams? Sorry. Bailey Williams. Yep, so Bailey Williams, and then that should sort that out. Okay, sorry about that once again. Just sorting out the drivers. And luckily enough, so while I sort all this out, we've got Guy Tasker here now joining us in the commentary box. So welcome, Guy.
Thank you. I've sorted, well, I don't know if I've sorted my game out yet. It's just updating, so.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. So we've still got a 10-minute wait anyway because, oh, actually, hang on, just hold fire for a second. Oliver, I need you out of the Red Bull, please. Toro Rosso, because Michael Poland's coming and he's the official Red Bull driver, so thank you. Okay, so sorry about that. I just realised an indiscrepancy with a couple of drivers in the wrong car. So we've had a couple new drivers appear in the championship. As you can see, we have an Italian now in Luca 833. Oh god, I can't read that from here actually. 8394664. But we know him as Luca Manad. Oh god, I can't. please don't watch this back, Luca. Please don't watch this back. I feel so bad.
Everyone will skip through this first bit.
Yeah, fair enough. Luca, where are you? Luca Montagaza. We're going to have a guy from Belgium show up, and his name's going to be a real piece of work to decipher. But he's said to, if he comes into the lobby, we refer to him as Yef, which to me, his real name is pronounced Yefanye.
My name's Jeff.
Yep. And then we've got a British driver by the PSN IM West. His real name is Liam West, and he is a new driver that will be in the Scuderia Ferrari alongside Ryan Connolly. So we'll have a quick. What we're gonna do is while we wait for people to turn up and whatnot. Still waiting for Michael Poland to get here. How do you describe the Azerbaijan Grand Prix? If you could label it in 3 words, how would you label it?
Tight. Fast. Dangerous.
Okay, so 3 of the most obvious things. Maybe I should have picked someone else for this comment, but either way, it's just getting, it's one of those kind of circuits. Yes, it's a street circuit. Yes, it demands absolute necessity to get through without damage and whatnot, but it's such an easier track to handle than the likes of Monaco, because with Monaco you have hopefully we don't have bloody any more dramas like we did in Monaco. I take it you watched that back.
The Monaco, yeah, well, yeah. F2 turn 1.
Well, Azerbaijan,
more
well, Baku, no, sorry, Monaco F3 was just as chaotic, so...
Well, actually, I don't know if turn 1 here is... I think turn 1 here, because you've got the runoff going out wide, so hopefully it's not quite as dangerous. You've got a bit more space than you do at Monaco, but still.
Okay, so...
Quite
Okay, so we've just got confirmation that Yef is not going to be attending today, and we had a driver that wanted to move up to F2 for time reasons, and I told him he can attend if he attends a race at F2 and shows his F3 and shows his worth, he would get promoted, but he hasn't turned up, so just waiting for.
My game is 45% updated, so I'm getting there.
Just telling
Any idea
Mike
what's in this update?
Sorry?
Any idea what's in this update? Have they announced what they've done?
Nothing really towards PlayStation measures.
Classic.
It's all Xbox and
Really?
Xbox and PC related issues. They've supposedly fixed the glitch where causing so many flashbacks in career mode will establish a safety car. They've fixed that glitch, which, it's no big deal. Various bugs and fixes, but there's still been a mass spike of desync that we've seen throughout the whole week of racing. The pit lane glitch, which of course compromised mine and Jordan's race in the F2 race. That one hasn't happened as continuously, but we have had reports from other people in other not other categories, but other leagues, complaining of the same situation where they've come in and then been held in the pit lane for more than 30 or 40 seconds, which is absolutely
weird.
I recall there was one guy in AOR F4 who told me he had a 20-second lead heading into the pit stops and ended up falling a lap down because of the incident. So there was a lot of
I had a
disappointment.
similar thing happen. I think I can't remember which track it was at last year, but it was the same thing, but not to the same extent. It was only about 5 seconds tops. And it was only a few seconds. It just held me completely irrelevantly. There was no one else in the pit lane. So it was almost like I'd been held for a car to go past. But... Oh, well. But yeah, that was 30 or 40 seconds. That's obviously game breaking.
And to cap it off, when you tell you're playing a strategy game, you tell your teammate to go in the pit lane, only to have them howl at you saying, "Oh, I'm stuck in the pits," when you're just entering pit lane yourself. It's kind of one of those standpoints that you think, "Oh, okay, this could be an existential problem," and then of course it does end up being a huge problem. So we are delaying the start a little bit, guys. So we are just trying to improvise a little bit while we wait for a certain person to come online and get in the lobby. He has missed a few races today, this week, so he's just making his way now. So we'll be going to the track in a few minutes' time. So thanks for bearing with us, Bailey. If you are listening to this broadcast, you need to be in the Williams, please. I can't stress that enough. I'll just have a look through the list and see if everyone's in their correct car. So we've got Eric Siverton in the Mercedes, which is correct. Ryan Connolly in the thing, which is correct. Actually, there is one person I haven't invited, but actually I need to fix that up. So just see if... I just actually have to double check on the attendance sheet to see if he was even showing up today. So
there we
go. Attendance sheet. And it was... okay, so he wouldn't be. Yep. Okay, so that's fine. So, any sign of Michael Poland just yet? Nope. I'll just see where he's at on the list of players. Sorry, we keep going on and off offline, but... Actually, I've received a message from someone. I'll just have a quick look at that and see what it says. Eldoric Titan. Comment in the live feed about the race, asking any questions and stuff like that. Enough with the Havamos stuff, honestly. Okay, so guys now finally joined us in the comm box, well, in the lobby, so that's one thing to do. So yeah, if anyone wants to ask any questions that aren't racing in the category at the moment, want to ask any questions so that we can answer during the race, just put in hashtag ask Bretty and hashtag ask Tasky, and we'll get to you as soon as possible. So yeah, I had to I had to throw something on the trot with that one. So
love it.
Speaking of on the trot, get out of the Red Bull, you shit. It's Michael's car. He can't be too far away because he is registered to say he's on F1. I'll just see how much longer he's got, and then we'll make a decision based on that. So, what could you say? Let's get a moment here and talk Amano, because we've got the big announcement that I'm coming back to F1 come Belgium. And how would you rate your championship so far from the races you have attended?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how the races obviously I've been able to attend have gone. I think I've been competitive in all of them. Perhaps Canada slightly underperformed, but generally I'm happy that I've been mixing it at least. But I think I just lack at the moment. I seem to lack the out and out one lap pace, quite consistent. But something I want to work on is just building the one lap pace. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm frustrated. Obviously, I haven't been able to attend all of them because I feel like I'd be up in the mix, not leading obviously, but up in the mix a bit more, keeping my championship hopes alive. But I appreciate that's pretty much gone now. But yeah, not too. It's been a solid start. I want to get my first podium, and yeah, I think hopefully that'll come in the next few weeks.
Well, I think we, among anything, would like to see that ourselves. Even myself, with what my comeback and everything. Who do you think's been the standout performer this season versus who? Who do you think should have been where they are? Should be in further up the field, and your personal thoughts on the competitors in F1 this season.
Yeah, in F1, I think Daniel, has been a surprise to me. Like how quick he's been. Considering last year he was good, but he was kind of a midfield runner often. But this season he's really taken the jump and is leading the field as such up there with Mackenzie. So I think that's been a bit of a surprise. As for someone who may be underachieving, I don't know. It's hard to say really because there's quite a lot of new drivers. I need to try and think of everyone now. I've got to try and maybe I'll get the list up and see what I can make of everyone. But I don't know who else is an. I've got to try and find my list now of all the people in there. I can't remember everyone. I don't want to make any accusations for that.
Okay, so we've been given a prediction for Ask Bretty Tasker Talks, and his predictions for Eduardo Rogers. So a lot of love for Eduardo. Personally, it's not something, we don't like to make single-based assumptions on drivers for that kind of thing. I'd like to think he'll do well. He was F3 last at the start of the season at Bahrain and finished second overall before moving straight into F2 for to replace one of the Force India drivers. But yeah, he's shown some good prowess, and I think he's good to go. Definitely shown some good battles with me in the F2 race, that's for sure. He's actually been a really good competitor, and hopefully would like to see him progress. So now apparently Mike's in, so I'll just have a quick look at that. He is too, so I'm just gonna make one quick check on things and then we'll get underway. Alex, are you actually spectating or are you actually going to race? So if you're going to race, get in a car. Okay, so without further ado, we're pretty much good to go now. Every driver's here, so we're going to have 17 drivers on the grid today. So 2 less than last weekend, but still pretty good attendance. And if we look at the number of actual F3 drivers, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 of the 15 drivers attending today's F3 race, which is now an all-time record for the F3 category, and probably the biggest biggest field the F3/GP3 have had in a long time.
Yeah, it's good to see such a big field.
Of course, most of these drivers are F2, and of course Daniel Vale is our F1 championship points leader. Well, I say championship points leader, but I did make a mistake. I do have to make a public apology in regards to a mistake I made on broadcast for F1. Daniel Vale does lead the World Championship title, but he actually sits equal now on points with John Lindberg. But because John Lindberg actually has had 2 race wins this season, John actually now leads the Drivers' Championship equal on points with Daniel Vale. So the 2 gun drivers that were predicted to be on the top of the championship table are currently meeting those expectations quite rapidly. Now, we've had a chat to both drivers, and John feels like he's still got a lot of races he might end up missing, which might throw him out of the championship picture. And Daniel just doesn't feel like he has the consistency to hold on to what he's got. So
interesting.
It'll be very, very different responses. Neither one of them have talked each other up. Neither one of them have kind of said the other driver is going to be the higher end. So very modest answers from the 2 drivers. But either way, that's F1. This is F3. We're here at Azerbaijan in the situated just above the Black Sea. Probably the closest driver out of everyone here would be Genia Bondarenko in position 6 from Ukraine. So Ukraine's probably the closest place out of everyone here to Azerbaijan. Very interesting city for its politics and whatnot, and definitely one of the most interesting tracks that has come about in F1 championship history. So of course we do end up going to Vietnam for 2020 and Zandvoort as well. Also talks about a London street circuit in the coming years as well. So of course Silverstone
and Miami, I believe, as well.
They have talked about Miami, but they haven't really concluded whether or not that's happening for 2019. No, but if not, it'll be another 2020.
Someone lost. I think someone's lost some front wing already.
Yeah, I'm wondering
Turn
about
2. It looks like there's some loose front wing on the exit.
It wouldn't surprise me too much, but so currently the only 2 teams at the moment that don't actually have cars, well, set cars are Williams, Renault, and I'm just trying to click onto the other one, Haas. So a few cars missing a few drivers, which in fact those are the 3 cars that would made the full grid, so 3 drivers. And I don't think we had any more people left that could have really one of the F3 drivers is apparently getting spammed, so he'll either turn up late or not at all. But oh, and we've already got a disconnection, so Ludwig's already made a mistake here. I don't know who's actually the first driver to go out, but what I'm going to do instead is we'll go on board with Ryan Connolly here, and Guy, if you want to take us for a virtual lap around Azerbaijan, on board the number 15 Ferrari. We'll get a grasp on see how he approaches it.
Yeah. So reaching some huge speeds down here. You got 215 miles per hour there. Heavy braking zone into turn 1. You got the double, pretty much perfect 90-degree left-hander and then a double left. To the second one here into the first of the DRS straights. So another chance for, if you can follow closely through the first two, you can have a look down here to see if you can get an overtake done, but you don't want to be doing it into the turn 3 here because that's a bit too tight to go too wide through there really. For the right hander there, swing it round, and then you come into the starting to get into the more technical section now. So you got the chicane down into the straight. I find this one a really tricky bit there actually. The curb's quite high, you don't want to touch them too much, and now of course into the castle section, the most famous area of the circuit. You've got to line yourself up to be able to try and cut straight through there. You don't want to be taking too many turns. If you get your turn in wrong, you're probably losing some front wing. And then you got the nice fast double left-handers here. I really enjoyed this bit of the circuit. And then tricky corner here, don't want to hit that inside curve because it really throws you out into the outside wall if you get too much of it. And then, well, this is not the last corner, but penultimate corner really. You need to get a good exit because it's going to affect your speed all the way down through the back straights, and it should just be flat out from here unless you've got front wing damage, and then you might have to lift through those fast left rights, and then it's just a long wait down to the line. Not much you can do now, just foot down and you wait.
Ooh.
Oh, there's been a crash.
Yeah, I just saw that. I just on board. It looked like Connor,
It's Oliver and oh, Emil's caught someone else now. It's got Luca. Luca collected him on the way through.
So
Emil went
so three
turn
cars
around
out, but that's quite interesting. I wonder if we can get a good read on that. But at the moment, so Daniel Vale goes to the top as per expected, and then it's the two Ferrari. So the B team kind of showing the A team a little bit up. But yeah, that was quite. I would probably think to say that it looks like maybe Amural and Oliver have come together on the straight. Thank you.
Yeah, and then I think they must have come together on the straight, and Oliver was taken out by it. Emil went to correct it and pulled out into the road, and poor old Luca was just flying past at 200 miles per hour and collected him, and he's lost his tyre himself, so...
Sorry about that, just
I
checking.
think it's alright.
Definitely a lot of yellow sectors going through, so a lot of drivers.
I'm not sure what happened to O'Connor. He's retired from the session, but I'm not sure whether he crashed or whether that was optional.
Well, he probably thinks he's probably thinking he's serving his qualifying ban, but he's still got to realise that qualifying ban is for F2, not F3, so he'll have to serve it tomorrow.
Oh.
But I don't know, maybe he's just practicing like Daniel did it.
He's on a different username.
Yeah, he's using a different account because he's said that he's had his previous one either hacked or he's forgotten his password. So currently the head of top of the F3 is in position 2, and that's Liam West in the Ferrari. And previous what track did we do? Yes, last Canada. So Canadian Grand Prix winner Adri Lockdock is Adri Garcia, currently in P2. Then Connor Paisley. Eduardo Rogers in P5, then Ryan Conley, championship points leader Matthew Ayler, second in the championship now Eric Siverton, and that championship points gap is only 6 points now between the Mercedes and Toro Rosso driver, so tensions are building quite high, and that DNF at Canada has really hurt his chances. Now we've got a bit of information here regarding the incident. And it says, I was going in and I was braking, but Oliver was going slowly. So it looks like, from the sounds of it, a bit of he said, she said sort of situation where, actually as I say that, Sebastian Spicer goes to the top with a 138.4. So an F2 driver displaces the F1 driver. But in saying that, Sebastian Spicer has been learning no assists all week. He, myself, Josh Banks, and Jordan Dittmer have been doing quite a bit of excessive testing this week, if you want to call it that, if you want to call hide and seek testing, but yeah, Sebastian's shown some really good pace now that he started to run no assists, but yeah, it looks like there's a bit of controversy behind into the system, and yeah, a few drivers have just pretty much cleaned each other up from a miscommunication of pit lane incidents.
Yeah, that makes a bit more sense than just coming together down the straight. I'm not sure otherwise how you do that.
So currently only 2 drivers sit in the 1 minute 38s, and then Liam West in the 39s, and then the rest are all in the 1 minute 40s, with Ryan Connolly, the last driver then, to be on the 1 minute 41s, and then Eric Siverton makes up the 42. So drivers currently haven't set a lap yet is Bailey Ford. In fact, somebody's just jumped up into position. I think that's Ludwig Sell now up to position 3.
Yeah.
With a 39.1, so 2 tenths off, 3 tenths off P2, which is an F1 driver. So whether or not Daniel's sandbagging a little bit, or whether or not this is his actual pace, if going by what I know from John and Mackenzie's lap times around Baku, if this is what Daniel's got to offer, he could be in trouble tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I'm not entirely sure on everyone else's pace at the moment, but yeah, judging from that, he's done it on the super softs, so that's something for him.
Yeah, okay.
Factor, I guess.
So I've got to stop. I mean, this was something that Matt kept pointing out to me every single time. I should really have the tyres fitted on before I make such harsh rationalised decision.
Yeah.
So if he's done that on the super softs, then in other words, if he could punch out even worse on the super ultras. So. Anyway, carrying on for a minute there, just responding to someone wanting to have a qualifying ban for tomorrow's race based on an incident here. The rules are simple. I mean, we covered sort of this kind of information last season when we had the GP3 invitationals in GP2 and all that kind of stuff. The rules have always been that if a non-F3 categorised driver is caused in an accident with an F3 driver, most of the cases that even if the F3 driver is at fault for the incident, the F2 driver will still score a point towards their license to race in this category as an invitational, and should they reach three strikes for proven incidences, then they're not permitted to race in that category again unless by chance they get demoted to that category. And also to clarify, on it too, it's not restricted to 1 point per race. You could get all 3 strikes in one race. So you have to be kind of careful what you're doing in F3. The purpose of these invitationals is to give drivers somewhat a light case of advantaged race practice for the next day's racing, but it's also a privilege because you're racing against people who are fighting for points while you're not doing anything more than just racing for the sake of racing. So
yeah, it makes sense.
I'm just having a look at the seeing if there's any So, like I said, guys, if you want to ask any questions pertaining to the race, certain drivers, not predictions, not asking us for our personal predictions, just asking us about anything regarding the Transnation Formula One, even its origins, anything like that, how Guy and I became commentators and all that kind of stuff, don't be afraid to ask Brady or Tasker Talks, hashtag in the comment section below, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions at a spare moment of time. Also noticing that there is this particular person in the comments section that actually should have been in here in the commentary box with us, so I'm a little surprised to see that he's not there, and he's probably now about to so I'm just gonna put it out here. Hashtag Matthew Plevy exposed. Hey Matt, I'm just doing my job. Anyway, so Daniel Vale has responded to Sebastian's fastest lap with a 1 minute to 38.2, and that's still on the super soft tyre, so he does have a bit more juice to burn on the harder, well, not the hardest, but the harder of the 3 compounds. And and as I say that, Sebastian responds with a 37.9.
Yeah.
So Sebastian not too optimistic about his he's just as I flick onto him, he's grabbed the fence at turn 2. So but yeah, so Sebastian's responding to Daniel's times, but he's still not opting to use the slowest tyre. So strategy is playing more into Daniel's favour at the moment. And F3 land, it's kind of working the same for Adri Garcia, who's done a 38.5 also on the super soft. So that's not too bad to have the top 3 cars separated by roughly half a second, and 2 of the cars are on super soft tyres, where one driver is on the ultras. In fact, the top 5 is only separated by a second, and the 3 of the 5 cars are all on the super soft, because Bailey Ford is also there too. Oh, something's going on in sector 3, and I think it might be Ludwig. Definitely going slow through the infamous area where Brendan Hartley gave a few Toro Rosso people heart attacks, including one Pierre Gasly when had a moment there with a puncture.
A little bit scary.
I mean, I can understand the situations being, but it's a two-way street in a way. I mean, there's not a lot of places you can really get out of the way of there, so that's where I can stand on Brendan Hartley's side for that. But for Pierre Gasly, like, it's such a blind corner, so you don't tend to, you don't tend to think to scream around that corner at 200 or 300 kilometers an hour, and then suddenly there's a car just out of nowhere doing like half the speed, maybe even 3/4 of the speed. Just popping up straight out of nowhere. So, it was great mind of Pierre Gasly to get out of the way to what could have been one of the biggest crashes in Formula One history.
Yeah, it would have been a nasty one at that. At those speeds, a defenceless car like that would go right through them. Probably actually just get flung up over the top of it as well. So.
Well, it would. I think honestly, it would be a bit reminiscent of that F3 crash with the Sophie Gaules, I think her name.
Flores,
yeah, Sophia Flores.
That's what I thought as well.
And it's good to know that she's all right. She's she's undergone surgery for spinal damage. No risk of paralysis. Oh, Michael Pollan just getting really ragged in that area where we're just mentioning. So yeah, good to see Sophia pretty much back on good grounds and is set to come back to F3 next season with a few big names now no longer in it. Of course, we've heard the news that Mick Schumacher will be in F2 for the team that Charles Leclerc ended up racing for before he moved into Formula One. Poland's just grabbed the fence massively at the last kink. I don't call it the last turn because it's not a turn, it's a kink. So
yeah.
I always put the last corner to be the corner right before those fast complexes begin. So
yeah, that's what I called it really.
So a few drivers coming in. We've only got 50 seconds left on the clock. Everyone's kind of going out on a hot lap. Now, just looking at the distances of where everyone is, Sebastian isn't going to make it in time for a flying lap. He's only got 40 seconds left. He's only at the castle section, so he won't actually make it in time. Daniel Vale's definitely going to make a lap in, as is Adri Garcia. So Daniel has not switched to the ultras either, so if Daniel can pull something out of this could be a very huge example of what could be.
It's going to be close for Sebastian. He's going to have a slipstream.
No, he's not going to make it. It's about a 20-second transition from the kink to the line. So
yeah,
he's going to give it a go, but he's not going to make it. He's going
to miss it.
And
right,
I think
10
I would
seconds.
imagine he's going to pit now, and rather than. No, he's actually just going to complete the lap. So this could be a problem. Or actually, this could be a real big problem because he's actually
That's right. That was just Ryan. Ryan's finished as well.
Yeah, I was just thinking, because if Ryan had actually completed and started a lap, and
No.
that could have been a major walking. But I'm sure Sebastian was probably well aware of that, and that's why he drove along the side rather than just staying at the rear. So let's have a look at Daniel Vale and see what he can pull out. So into sector 2 now. He's definitely flying through these corners rapidly. Oh, so close to the fence. Millimetre perfect for Daniel Vale.
Yeah.
As he comes through the final kink. Turn 1 did look a bit questionable, but I suppose if he did invalidate, he would have backed off and just called it quits. But he's just absolutely on it. Now he hits the thing. The DRS will activate about now. It's looking good. Could it be a 37?
Yeah, I think it will be pole.
It's pole with a 37.5. Unbelievable speed there by Daniel Vale on. Actually, I'm actually seeing a glitch. He's actually on the ultras. He's actually improved on the ultras.
Yeah, he is.
So he's throwing his strategy out the window for something a bit more. What are you giggling at?
I've just seen a question in the stream.
Okay, so. Yeah, I feel like you need to answer that one.
It's probably a better question for Stefan than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I think a lot of people get jealous when I spend time with someone else rather than them. Understandably so. I'm an entertaining bloke.
It's just for those watching. It's a bit of an inside. It's a bit of an inside joke with myself, Guy, and our other commentator, Stefan Namberger, who should be actually due back very soon. So expect to see Stefan back in the commentary box alongside me in F1 at least until Belgium, when he'll take over full time in my place, so I can return to F1, and then expect to see Stefan take my seat at Toro Rosso in F2, which will bring him and Jordan back together, to which I think I already made mention of this last weekend, but yeah, they end up being teammates again, only in different cars.
Oh, cute. Could Eduardo get a podium finish? I've got as a question as well.
Well, we'll have a look and see based on where he's starting, but at the moment
I can't actually remember what P he's starting, but
I think the more realistic question is, can Daniel Vale convert this into a win and kind of give the F1 drivers a bit of a forewarning that this could be what you're up against tomorrow. We'll just have a look and see is on the grid. So currently Eduardo sits in P8, so it could be a possibility. This track is notorious.
I've been impressed with what I've seen from it. I think he's got some good pace in him, and I was quite impressed that Canada got a bit bogged down in a few. There's a big midfield battle between 4 or 5 cars.
And there was a lot of desync too,
races,
so another heap of desync. And our championship points leader has been.
I don't think Eduardo can take pole, no, because qualifying has finished now. So, but yes, Eduardo can probably finish on the podium. I reckon he could have a good start. You never know what's going to happen around Baku, especially with the castle section and all of that. You're going to have safety cars, probably highly likely.
So our bigger questions at the moment, I feel like I need to actually have a look at these comments as they pass through.
You won't want to see the most recent one. It's not very nice.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I think it's very nice, but you won't think it's nice.
No, obviously not.
Oh, Eduardo's been disqualified. Oh, he's definitely not getting a podium now.
No. One of the interesting questions I want to look at is the two new drivers that are in the grid today, Liam West, position 6, and then Luca, who unfortunately was caught in the qualifying incident to start back in 15th position alongside his teammate Michael Poland, who was a bit on the ragged edge through qualifying. Just didn't look like he could find the ground that he needed to make a good qualifying also by Connor Paisley in position 5. Bailey Ford, who was caught in an incident at F2 with Stanley Belrose, which in the end resulted initially what started as a qualifying ban for this weekend's race, which then turned into a 10-second time penalty and 15 points off his super license for causing an avoidable accident. And Bailey felt very bad about the incident. He felt like he'd robbed Stanley of a good home Grand Prix opportunity, and that was actually something that we didn't actually really press up on through F2, as far as I believe. I haven't watched back the footage since my I refused to be honest. It was such a horrid race for me, so I don't really want to reflect on it. But
understandable.
Actually, it's quite interesting. Of all the people that got disqualified in the session, most of the ones still in the session are all F3 drivers, so that's quite something to behold there. So lights now go out. We'll probably have a hold period here with there's a hold period, so they still haven't fixed that one. Lights out, and away we go. And it was a good start by Daniel, who'll carry them off into turn 1. We'll just flick through the back and see if anything.
Toro Rosso, which has just rear-ended another car and lost some front wing. But apart from that, I think it was a clean turn 1.
Yeah, there's a bit going on in turn 2. So much congestion, but it looks like everyone...
Man, look at that. That is amazing to see all those cars filling up the road there. You got 3 wide at one point there.
We've got a Mercedes going down the inside of it.
Who's that?
Oh, I don't know, but Sebastian's
I think Sebastian lost it on the exit there.
And
he's gone
into Sebastian's gone down the escape road.
Yeah.
He's obviously...
He must have got a bit happy on the accelerator.
He's been complaining. One of the biggest complaints he's had all week is his brakes. And he's said he's had problems with the brake pedal on his Logitech G29, so brake problems hampering Sebastian yet again, and he'll be hoping that this kind of sets the... gets all the bad luck out of this road. But Daniel Vale sliding his way through turn 1, leads from his teammate Bailey Ford. So Alfa Romeo Sauber 1-2, which we saw last weekend too in F3 with Bailey Ford and Adri Garcia taking a 1-2 for McLaren. So we could see Bailey bringing another team to a 1-2 finish. Adri leading the F3 charge in position 3 ahead of Liam West, and Connor Paisley still holding down P5.
Well, I'm just seeing these Mercedes in 7th and 8th at the moment. You've got Alex O'Connor right up behind Eric at the moment. I think we're going to... Oh, he's right on his gearbox through those fast left-rights. Oh, Toro Rosso in the ball.
And that's Oliver Coleman. So Oliver's had a few...
He managed to save it. So he hasn't crashed out, but...
There's a lot going on, and Mike's out of the race.
Alex O'Connor's come... Yeah, he's got them.
And in fact...
There's everyone going on.
Virtual safety car.
Oh.
So, Big Mike's crash. I wonder if Matthew Ayler was part of that, because he's stopped, he's paused, he's currently paused, his car's trundling into pit lane. I wonder if he's jumping on the thing to immediately apologise. He might have been responsible for the accident. Sebastian's in as well. He's going on the super soft tyres, so this is kind of a free kick for Sebastian in a little way that... he can now service stop and get a front wing change, and he won't have too much ground lost as a result.
Oh, there's a McLaren. It's Adri. Adri's lost his front wing. What was he doing?
Oh, he's had a... yeah, I know that.
He was just drifting. He was just coasting around the outside, and then just kept going into the inside wall. And he lost his front wing. He's dropped all the way down to P8.
On my perspective, he hasn't lost his front wing, but he's definitely taken damage.
He's lost front. It was the front right plates.
And Liam West has also got a 5-second stop-go penalty for ignoring yellow flags. My guess is that he's obviously put his foot down on the safety car ending and it's gone over his delta before the safety car's period's finished. So, bit of after a good
start. O'Connor up 11 places. I just thought I'd point out that's a great start for him, up to P6.
Yeah, actually, and on the soft tyre too. So he's running an alternative strategy that could better him as long as he stays. I mean, he's been copped a lot of flack lately. He's actually gotten out of the way of his teammate there. So
inside now.
Yeah, so his teammate, he's been given his teammate clearance, but here we go.
I'm looking at Connor, sorry.
Amiral up the inside of Alex.
I was on board.
And Amiral's tagged the back of Alex's car and spun. So Amiral a bit opportunistic now. Adri is in his expected front wing change and soft tyres. Actually, surprisingly, I thought Sebastian would have jumped on the softs too. It's a bit you're probably asking a bit too much of the super softs to make 23 laps.
Pretty optimistic, but maybe trying something different. Going to experiment a bit and see what you can do with it. Oh, and Luca getting a bit.
And Luca's made some good ground too. He's come up a few spots as well. So
yeah, I was just riding on board with him there. Just had a bit of a tank slapper, but kept it under control in the end.
So just having a look at the spectrum. So as you say, so Bailey Ford up 2 positions, Liam West up 3 positions, Ludwig Sell up 3 positions. Connor has been the pretty average case. He actually hasn't made any ground from the start. He's, in a way, I would say he's lost a lot of positions to the point where he's balanced out to be where he is. As you say, Alex O'Connor up 11 spots, his teammate up 4 spots, Ryan Connolly up 1, Luca up 6, Eduardo down 2. So those who want to see Eduardo get a good result will be hoping that there's a lot more crashes and a lot more and the potential of a safety car as well. So now Daniel's actually coming in too, so that's quite early for Daniel, but of course that is the compounding strategy differences between the ultras and the supers. So Bailey takes control of the race lead. Daniel's now in.
The Mercedes going at it again. Alex O'Connor this time going around the outside. Verick into turn 1. Oh, cut across the front of his teammate, clips his front wing, and they're into the fence. Alex O'Connor got.
Yeah, and he's grabbed his teammate in the process too, but is there... Oh, and Alex has actually clipped the inside fence, and that's game over.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he lost some front wing.
And we've lost we've lost Oliver as well. So both Red Bulls out of the race, but where has Oliver been lost?
Just the last corner.
Yeah, the last kink. Or has he given it up?
Oh no, he's there. Yeah, no, he is. His car's still on the track.
Yeah, so he's actually just given it up. So we've gone from 17 cars now down to 14, and currently our leading F3 driver is Liam West in position 2, from Ludwig Sell, then Eric Siverton, Ryan Connolly, Luca Mantageza.
Oh, just as you said that, Liam's lost it. He's in the fence.
Oh, he has too.
I think he must have lost some front wing there, but
he's lost at least. Yeah, he's lost a good chunk of his right hand side. Yeah. So that, if you were to put it into perspective, if you had broken your front wing, oh my goodness me, he almost just went straight on into the fence.
No downforce on that. He's going to have to be really careful too here.
On a track like Azerbaijan, if you had front wing damage and you couldn't pit for repairs, which side of the car would you primarily want the damage to be on? Oh, a severe collision by... and Luca's been spun around in the kink, and it said it was a severe collision with Amiral. So Amiral has looks like he's spun.
He's just got a 5-second stop go, gained 1 place.
So he's got he's got 2 5-second stop go penalties. So yeah, 2 5-second stop go penalties for collision with thing, and then he's obviously got an illegal overtake and then couldn't give it back. So Luca will be very disappointed about that. Sebastian has made some ground.
Not having a very fortunate weekend at the moment. Luca got taken out in qualifying, and he's been taken out here in the race as well. So.
Oh, and Liam West severely missed, almost just pretty much decided I'm not coming out the pit exit. I'll just jump across the ripple strip and carry on my merrily ways. Now we just seen a move here with Daniel Vale's just made a move on Genia Bondarenko for position 7. So Daniel will be using his F1 speed and knowledge to try and carve his way back through the field so he can minimise the damage that he may or may not be suffering at the moment by being in traffic. While his teammate Bailey Ford is out to the tune of 5.7 seconds over Ludwig Sell. So Ludwig could be on the way to getting his second race win of his career. Of course, the second race win will be by effective position. He did win on track at the French Grand Prix.
Sebastian, it looks like he's going to have a look at Genia Bondarenko coming in to... Oh, I'll touch that curb I mentioned.
Bailey's in. So Bailey's in. So where is Daniel versus Bailey? So down the straight. So
Daniel should clear him pretty comfortably.
We'll just see in a minute here. So here comes Daniel down the back. Actually, I think... Oh no, Bailey's got front wing damage too. So that's actually... So that's probably hurt. Where is Daniel?
He's just coming over the start-finish now.
No, Bailey's got him. Bailey's cleared him quite convincingly.
Even with front wing?
Yeah, Daniel's...
Oh, I always massively underestimate just how long that straight is, I think.
Well, we did it. We did the same thing in Canada too, remember? We thought Bailey was going to come out behind Adri and all that for position, and then he cleared them by 3 seconds.
Daniel had front wing. Did he have a front wing change in his pit stop then as well?
I don't recall. I don't think I actually saw him go in service.
I don't think I did either, but I would assume that he did because he's lost out pretty majorly.
I mean, if we look at the interval between them and the leaders, he's lost about 4 seconds. We keep seeing yellow flag sectors, but not really seeing anything for it. It's interesting. I think the game's obviously having a few bugs where when a car goes through a corner slowly, it then picks up it as like a potential hazard. But I'm currently watching Eduardo here in position 13, so Eduardo fans should be chanting and raving and giving the boys some moral support to claw his way through the field. He's right on the back. Well, he's not right on the back, but he's coming up to the back of the championship points leader, who's going to probably, at the end of this, if positions stay currently as they are, I won't say they will because there's going to be a lot of pit lane shuffle shortly, but Ludwig is going to take maximum points currently, and where Eric sits versus where Matthew Ellis sits, Eric Siverton will take the championship points lead heading into Austria for the Austrian Grand Prix in a week's time. So we've got a good battle here now between Liam West and...
Yeah, that's just what I'm watching as well. You've got the two McLarens and the Ferrari here, and they've stormed Genia down the straight.
And that's one McLaren down the drain, so Genia Bondarenko doesn't fight the issue and lets Liam through. Now Liam will tackle our Canadian Grand Prix race winner of Adri Garcia. And let's see the difference in straight line speed between the two cars. So it looks like the second McLaren does have a bit of an edge over the Ferrari.
Yeah, on my screen, Liam didn't open his DRS.
Oh,
he had DRS down that straight, but never opened it. But, whether that was deliberate, maybe he's just happy to sit behind him for this lap and then make the move down the home straight.
I think in retrospect, the back straight heading towards turn 3 is, you feel like you want him. Oh, and Adri's just grabbed the fence just before the castle section. This could make the castle section really. Oh no, he's actually managed to pull it through quite nicely.
He's got Liam right on his gearbox now.
Oh, this could be on, but this is not a place you want to be ideally sitting.
This is a brave.
And you got to be, and Liam has to be careful because Adri will be going through here cautiously because he doesn't want to throw his car into a fence like he. Oh my God, he just looks so.
It's that curb, that inside curb is horrible. It just throws you out into the wall.
And it just looked like, from the angle that Adri was coming in, it looked like he was actually going to go square into the fence. It just looked like the car just wasn't going to turn. Now coming through here, Adri's grabbed the fence again.
Oh no! And there's contact between the two of them.
That could have been a hell of a lot worse.
He tried to still take it flat. It could have been a lot worse for Liam. Liam got away relatively lightly.
In fact, as we say that, Genia is now under attack by Liam's teammates. So
the other Ferrari, yeah.
And that was a bit awkward there.
Oh.
Ryan got past, and then all of a
Did
sudden,
he let him back through?
and then Genia just drove up the back of him, and then the position swapped. So I wonder what the deal with that was. Whether Ryan felt like he maybe gave Genia a bump and run and thought, I'll give the pace back. But either way, here we go again. This time, Ryan's taken the incentive to use the DRS and clears Genia quite convincingly. Genia is gonna. I thought he was actually about to set himself up. In fact, I could have sworn Ryan just went in the... I'm seeing this so much. I keep thinking I see a car just dive into the fence. In fact, Ludwig has just grabbed the fence out of that kink where, like you say, if you hit the curb, it fires you off. So Ludwig's obviously grabbed it and it's throwing him off. Now, I've just noticed, I've been seeing on the top of signs, Expo 2025 Baku. You got any idea what that is?
What's that?
On the top of the signs coming into the back section of the track towards the fast kink, there's a sign on the top of the thing that says Expo Baku 2025. I'm just trying to get there.
I'll have a look. I'm not
So if you look
sure.
at, yes, Expo 2025 Baku, I wonder if that's some kind of exposition that's going to be happening in 2025 at Baku, obviously. I mean, it's pretty straightforward as it sounds.
Yeah.
As Daniel Vale's now
guessing,
just cleared Connor Paisley, so Daniel's pace on the softs is much quicker at the moment than Bailey Ford's. In fact, we saw this last week too, because even though Bailey got the undercut on the front drivers, they eventually pulled him in with tyre management. So I wonder if Bailey's the kind of person who really butchers his tyres at the earliest parts of the stint, which then makes him vulnerable near the end. He is on the back of Eric Siverton at the moment.
Ooh,
And he's
yeah,
going, this is not a place.
Into the chicane, is it?
Well, it's not a move that you do, but I think
Eric made it pretty easy for him really in the end.
Eric had the right of mind to get out of the way now. Is Daniel going to try and do something here, or is he going to be patient about it? He's going to be patient about it. Connor was a little bit ambitious on the idea. Now, someone's gone off again at Sector 1. It's Matthew Ayler. He's stopped at the...
Ludwig's got a 5-second stop go.
For exceeding
track limits.
Now, where would that... Oh, that would have been at the curb turn. We'll call it curb turn, so we know.
Yeah, it must have gone the inside of the curb.
So Matthew Ayler had a moment there that...
Daniel's in the fence.
Oh, at curb turn, so Daniel's obviously outbraked himself.
I know, I was just watching. I was watching it and he didn't brake. He ran into the back of Eric, who was in front of him. Oh, speaking of which, Connor's just done the same. And ran into the back of Eric, but he ran into the back and just kept ploughed on into the wall from Daniel. I'm confused what happened there.
I wonder if Daniel might have just... I don't know what he's doing, but I mean, at the moment...
I wonder whether he snatched a brake. I think he lifted off the accelerator, but he didn't look to be... It didn't look like he locked up.
I mean, if you're on the wheel, it is quite easy to miss the brake pedal sometimes, but... I think Daniel runs on the pad, I'm sure of it. In fact, we've got someone in the pits in front of him, and that's Eric Siverton, in fact, so... Eric's got front wing damage as well. He's come back out on ultras. And, we've just lost Adri. And I think we've just lost Adri at the curb corner. Not impossible, but not unprecedented. So this is kind of shaping the F3 sort of situation up. We have only lost 2 of our F3 drivers at the moment. One that could potentially be an F3, but we won't go there. Oh, there we go. He lost it in the high-speed corner before curb turn. And we've lost Eric as well. Where's Eric gone? Turn 3.
Yeah.
Turn 3 catches them.
There's so many corners here that you can so easily just get wrong, and it's
and he was primed to take the championship lead with that. In fact, we've just lost. Oh no, have we lost him? No, that was just the remnants of the car from the back shot.
Still haven't. I feel like this game is too reluctant for safety cars still.
Well, it seems to only bring it.
They weren't ever coming out, but they just they are around now, but they just don't come out anywhere near as often as they should. Yeah,
you've had several big crashes that you would in real life would have prompted a safety car almost instantaneously, and they don't come out. But when then a car stops on the middle of the track for 2 or 3 seconds, then suddenly a safety car is brought out. it's inconsistent. It needs, you know, I say it time and time again that Codemasters really do need to sort their situations out, but you know, they don't listen to us. So I mean, it's
the little things like that are so easy to sort out.
And they're just blatantly ignoring it. It's almost to a point where, what's the point of having a beta? What's the point of having online when you're going to focus too much on one side of it, so that the other suffers? Like you know, we've had this discussion off air before, that it's true that the primary buyers of these games only want to play career mode and all that kind of stuff. But that comes down to the point of that if you're going to do that, you may as well just not have an online mode at all. You may as well just build a game. Go back to the old PlayStation 2 days and build a game that's only offline, so you can only play career mode. You don't, you know, forget all this, forget all these league people, forget all these online races. Just build a game that focuses entirely around career mode, problem solved. And oh no, we've lost Eduardo.
Oh, no.
And it's in turn 3 as well. So turn 3 and all the preceding corners just capturing so many.
Oh, Luca almost caught him on the way through, but Luca's got to him. Oh, the hero. He's fallen.
Yep, fallen from grace, and now Ludwig is
P12
in.
from today. So I'm going to answer the earlier question and say no. I don't think he can get a podium finish.
No. So now we got to have a look at the F3 standings at the moment now. So Ludwig rejoins in position 3. He's still the effective leader of F3. Then it's Ryan Connolly from Liam West. So Ferrari looking to get a double podium in F3 with Genia Bondarenko 4th, and then because of Eric's demise, this will give it will give Matthew Ayler a definite points boost. He's currently in position 5, so he'll gain 10 points over Eric heading into Austria, which will feel a lot more comfortable than 6, or maybe even losing the championship lead. Now, despite everything, Daniel has recovered quite nicely, and he did respond with the fastest lap of the race despite his front wing damage. Now, I don't recall whether or not he pit after that incident, but looking at the tyre number,
I think he did, because he's on ultras. Oh, Luca's in the fence. Oh dear.
And
Daniel did pit. He must have pit. He's on 2 lap old ultras,
So Genia Bondarenko is also coming as well. He's on the soft tyre. So Bailey's looking quite comfortable now, out to the tune of 9 seconds over Connor Paisley. So there's something I'd really love to see what the pit people do at Connor's pit stops. It's actually Ludwig is now right on Connor, as Connor now also dives in.
Connor comes in, yeah.
It seems like the Ultras and the Supers just don't have a very long life expectancy. 8 laps doesn't seem like a hell of a lot to run on super soft tyres.
Not for Supers.
Although he does have front wing damage too, so that could play into it. Got instant sector 3 somewhere. Someone's... No, Sebastian will be just kind of sitting there going... of course, we haven't seen him for a little while because he would go quiet a little bit after his mistake at turn 3. He'll be kind of sitting there going, P3 after going off of the escape road at turn 3. What the hell's going on here?
Oh, there's Daniel.
Okay, so what do we got here? So...
well, Ryan has just come out of the pits,
So we've got
P7.
a potential... Oh, and Daniel's gone!
Yeah, that's what I just said. He's a P... What turn... I'm trying to figure out exactly which turn
I think
it was.
I think it's the king.
1.
Oh no, it could be turn 1. I'm just watching from Genia Bondarenko's car. Let's ride on board and see.
Yeah, it's around the start-finish line. Or did he retire? He might have, wonder if he pulled into the pits and retired.
Maybe. Yeah, I just got a potential investigation here between Alex O'Connor and Eric Siverton, and I'm thinking it's for the incident at turn 1. So Eric's not too happy about that, and I don't blame him. So,
I'll save my footage now and see if I've got anything. But
and the thing about it too, it's scary. Alex is already on his second warning for F3 invitationals for series of conducts. If he gets done for a third, that's his F3 license revoked unless he gets demoted to F3 at some point. Now, here comes Bailey up the inside of Luca, and Luca will be disappointed. I have to
say, my initial reaction to the incident was that it looked a bit like a racing it wasn't deliberate, at least. I mean, as you'd expect, it wouldn't be, but from what I can remember, it was a case of running deep down the inside and just forcing the other driver out wide. But
and we've just lost Luca as well, so Luca's been caught up somewhere. Can't again
half the field almost.
Well, pretty much half the field. If you were to take half of 17, you would get about. Oh, maybe you probably need the next.
So, one more. We've got half a driver, so
yeah. If
Genia loses their front wing, then
we've got our 8 point. Then we've got our 8.5. Well, if anyone loses their front wing, we've got an 8.5.
Yeah, so. Anyone actually, it doesn't have to be Genia. So. No. That wasn't meant to be.
Sector 1 incident. And Matthew Alia again, turn 2.
Yeah.
Turn 2. I mean, turn 2. You think turn 2 would be such an easy corner compared to turn 1 because you're not travelling at 300 or 400. No car can reach 400 kilometres in Formula 1. 200 or 300 kilometres an hour, trying to slow down to 100 at least to get around turn 1. That much you can understand if a car doesn't want to respond and turn into the fence. Turn 2, on the other hand, I can't really put it down to as to why it's so much trickier.
Yeah, I think it's the angle's a little bit. Again, it's got a bit of a bumpy curve on the inside that isn't very nice. It can chuck you out a bit. So you want to try and take a bit of a wide approach, and if you do that, it narrows. Well, it should widen the angle, but it means you run a bit closer to the walls. They're smaller.
Yeah, but the weirdest part about it is that everyone's having their moments before they even reach the turn. So just before they even get to the point of turning, that they lock up and then they're either off on their escape road or they come to a complete stop, or like always they're in the fence. So it's interesting. I think there must be a bump or something there that unsettles the car. I can't personally remember, but got an instant. Oh man!
Oh.
Just had a moment there with Bailey Ford and Genia Bondarenko. I pulled the camera away just at the wrong moment. It looked like Bailey was trying to get onto the racing line, and Genia didn't quite slow down enough to let him through. And then they came together, and it almost looked like Bailey was going to go right in front of across the front of Genia's car and into the fence. So Bailey would just be having a mild heart attack right now, going, "Holy shit, that's almost too much to bear." Ludwig would have been loving that, because that would have mean he would have not only got a second race win, but it would have been a second race win on track as well. So, Ludwig looking after his car, it looks like, and then Liam West in position 2. He'll be disappointed that he got his 5-second stop-go penalty, and of course he did have that altercation with, I think it was the Adri Garcia, if I remember correctly. But yeah, the incident with Eric and Alex, I think it comes down to both cars drifted wide. Alex, of course, was on the outside, on the dirty side of the track, and drifted off into the fence. And then, of course, Eric was too close at the time, so that when Alex hit the fence, it just bounced him back into Eric. So I would say it's a racing incident as well, but of course we'll leave it to the stewards to situate that.
Just our opinions, but there's no resemblance to what the stewards might think. So
the interesting incident I want to see is the one between Amiral and Luca, because that one I would say would probably seem a bit more deliberate given where the corner is. or not deliberate as in, Amiral did it on purpose, but, deliberate in the way that it could have been a silly move that's gone wrong, or silly defence, or something like that.
Yeah.
So the field has kind of stabilised a little bit. So with the gaps as they are, I mean, the only battle we've really got is Amiral and Liam. Really. Just check it back to intervals. Yeah, so that's the only two battles we've got. So I suppose while we've got time to do that, let's have a look at 2019 for F1, the actual F1. So we've got Sebastian Vettel with Charles Leclerc. Do you think yay, nay, or they're going to fuck it up?
I think Vettel's going to be in for a bit of a hard time. I read an article actually earlier this week about Ricciardo said that he was never welcome at, or never got a chance at Ferrari because a certain someone wouldn't have him there. And I think they've got Leclerc in, who maybe this season, still young and learning, so perhaps Vettel will have the better of him this year. But I like Charles Leclerc a lot. I think he's going to do big things. So I don't think he's going to roll over. I think he's going to want to make a bit of a name for himself. So I don't think he'll play second fiddle like Kimi has at some points, quite so willingly. But I fully expect them to be competitive again, and I'm hoping they're even more competitive so that it can really go down to the last race next year, to be honest. Same with Red Bull. I hope Red Bull keep improving because, last quarter of the season this year, they were on fire, really, weren't they? Max Verstappen was putting out some great results. So.
Just watching Liam
that can happen again. Then.
Speaking of, I just saw Liam have a massive tank slapper coming out of the castle section there. So, Red Bull, I'm hoping to see make some decent ground. What with the how would you call it, the inauguration approach of having the Honda engine, which has done reasonable wonders for Toro Rosso Honda. I mean, Toro Rosso have never really been the type of car team to really worry about being a fast car and being up the top. They've always wanted a car that's somewhat reliable, that can score points and be remotely competitive. This year, they have been on a few accounts with Gasly and even on a few accounts with Brendan Hartley. I mean, Brendan Hartley with P6 at Suzuka, which, is a testament to his worth. Unfortunately, that worth seemed nothing at the end of the day because they chose the checkbook over talent. Yes, people at home, I am very bitter about Albon getting the seat over Hartley because it is basically Toro Rosso saying that they'd rather take a driver that's got money over a driver that's got a wealth of experience that just was still trying to learn the ropes of an open-wheeler vehicle after years and years and years of being in a GT spec car, which is a completely different beast. Anyway, so Racing Point F1, who we're actually watching with Amiral at the moment, formerly known as Force India, so the Force India name disappears completely off the F1 grid next year, which is a bit disappointing to see because they've had such a rich heritage. They started off as Jordan F1. Eddie Jordan made the team back in the 90s. Housed many talents like Michael Schumacher, Giancarlo Fisichella, Damon Hill even at one point. So, world champions and, potential eventual F1 race winners. Then of course, it was bought out by Spiker F1, the Dutch team, which kind of dropped off after a few seasons, then got picked up by Midland. And then, of course, Force India took over in 2008 and got a first pole position by the hands of Giancarlo Fisichella at Spa and finished on the podium before, of course, Ferrari took Giancarlo off their hands. Actually, no, sorry, that was 2009 because then Giancarlo was taken off them by Ferrari to race in place of Felipe Massa after Luca Badua was given the royal boot of shame. I mean, personally, if you were the Ferrari team boss and you had a guy in your car, your prestige red prancing horse, a car that should be winning races almost all the time, consistently qualifying and finishing last, would you keep the driver?
Yeah, I don't see how you possibly could.
So yeah, Luca Badua, no disrespect to him and anyone that has or ever did support him in the past, but you just don't get in a car like that and not put it at the back of the field all the time. That's just, you know, even Mika Salo, who replaced Schumacher in 1999 when he had broke his leg, had multitudes of podiums, could have even won the German Grand Prix, which would have made him the first ever reserve driver to win a race in Formula 1. Don't quote me on that one because I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
If anyone does know if there was ever a first-time reserve race winner in Formula 1, do let us know. Would be interested to know. But yeah, it just pretty much complements a lot of things. So we're just continuing having a look through the race perspectives at the moment. Bailey's gap has dropped a little bit to Ludwig by about 3 seconds.
Ludwig is gradually gaining. He's gaining just under a second lap, I believe. 5.8, still got 6-7 laps to go. Yeah, he might be able to reel that in.
He'd have to pull out almost a second a lap to gain over Bailey, and I'll just have a look at the telemetry and see what kind of different. So they're kind of level pegging.
His tyres are 6 laps fresher, and that's the thing that he's going to be hoping for. He's hoping that Bailey's tyres perhaps are going to just drop off that cliff for the last few laps. And
actually, we've got a battle here of the teammates. Actually, Ryan Connolly's Ryan Connolly's actually. Well, actually, I'm not sure if Liam's made the ground or Ryan has actually managed to claw his way. I'd say it's the former because Liam has got 2-lap fresh super soft, so he must have come in while we were harking about the F1. And then he's now just put a move on his teammate for what will effectively be position 2 on the F3 scale. So it'll be a good haul of points for Ferrari, given they haven't had a full-class team this season. Ryan moved down from F2 for time reasons. Of course, Ryan works on a fortnightly basis, so can only... and Liam's just grabbed the fence at the castle section quite horrifically.
Uh-oh.
I wonder how much damage he's just
damage
got.
From that? Yeah,
little bit. I would have imagined his whole front wing assembly getting ripped off from that kind of impact, but it looks like he managed to get out of that relatively scot-free. Ooh. I love that corner and the way that, from a driver perspective, it's an absolute nightmare to get right, but from a spectator's point of view, it's just so amazing to watch cars go, you know, just that millimetre off the wall and be able to hold it together. Same with this corner here, the fast right-hander. Well, the fast right-hander leading down to the main straight. It's just, I don't know about pad users, but when you were on a wheel, in fact, Liam's actually coming in, so he's obviously got too much damage to sustain. And that's going to promote... Actually, no, that's actually...
That's Ryan.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was looking at Ryan the whole time. So it was actually Ryan that went in the fence. Okay, so sorry, Liam fans there. We made a bit of a technical error there. But yeah, you know, when you're using a wheel and you come through the last corner, you know that you've done the perfect line when you can feel the car inches from the fence to the point where it's trying to suck you in. But you can feel it on the wheel, you can feel the resistance. It's such an amazing feeling. And this corner here that we're with Liam on, turn 5 and 6, you get that corner right, it's bliss. It's a very tricky corner to manage.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most challenging corners on the circuit, actually. Because
you've got to swing your car in, and then you've got to get on the... It's kind of like the Singapore Sling. New Singapore Sling, where you've got to kind of position your car perfectly around the outside, and then you got a quick direction change back in, and then from there you got to try and get on the power to the corner. So the gap is actually 3.9 seconds, so Bailey has actually lost quite a heap of time, but I think there might have been traffic involved in that one. There is a car in between him and Ludwig at the moment, but I can't see who it is. It's someone coming towards the castle now. Who is it? Oh, it's Matthew Ayler. Oh, in fact, Matthew's just made it completely easy for Ludwig because Matthew's just gone completely down the escape road at the castle section. It's good to have, though. It's definitely good to have. If you know that you're not going to make the castle section, corner, you know it's a good place to just pull off and then rethink your strategy and put it through. So let's have a look. So Sebastian is definitely I almost gave him the commentator's curse there. Should have waited till he got through the castle section there. But I think Sebastian definitely, from the invitational perspective, has earned himself driver of the day for his brilliant comeback drive. I mean, he's 26 seconds off second place, who is now nearly within 3 seconds of the leader. So good job from him. And then driver of the day for F3, I would actually put down to Ryan Connolly, because Ryan's just consistently, and this is not actually from a race perspective, this is from a championship perspective, he's just always in the top 3. He always manages to bring his car into the top 3. He's just showing pure commitment all season, so he's definitely earned my respect for there. And Ludwig, I can't remember where he actually ended up qualifying, but he's made some, actually we can check on the thing, can't we? It says position changer, so he's made 5 spots from the start, so he's done pretty well there. Sebastian's managed to recover to only be a position down from where he started, so he can at least take away from that. And 2.8 seconds, so 3 laps to go. This could be on. He could get him by the end of the start of the last lap. Yeah,
it could be interesting. I think those tyres are babies.
I've given him
what have we done?
And then the castle section of all places. So that
I think he was pushing. He knew he had to push to get Jim,
and he'll be filthy about it. But what this does now is it promotes a Ferrari 1-2.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna have our 6th different winner out of 6 races as well.
And Ludwig's car is in a bit of a dangerous position.
Luckily, I think I've
right
turned ghosting off.
In the middle on the exit of the castle, in the middle of the castle. Oh, it's just disappeared there, but right on the exit of the castle section.
We could have our first ever in history of TNF1. We could have our first ever back-to-back 1-2 finishes from different teams. So that's something that we've never had before happen in anything. And it's definitely going to be making a few headlines. Yeah, there's a bit going on in the background, and we'll definitely be running through it. And we're probably going to start actually opening up a segment with a guy, myself, Mackenzie, or someone else does it, where we'll run you through all the information that happens after the race, steward reports, all that kind of stuff, so that we don't have to wait till now to tell you what happens. So we'll probably start making these videos roughly about midway through the week, where we'll talk about the race results, the stewards calls, any driver change arounds or anything like that, and whatnot, and in this case stats, because we're about to once again see a historical moment in the TNF1 where we're going to have 2 teams score 1-2 finishes on back-to-back weekends. So McLaren did it last weekend with Bailey Ford and Adri Garcia. This weekend it's going to be Ferrari with Liam West and Ryan Connolly, and then of course Matthew Ayler is going to record a podium for his efforts.
I've just seen Ludwig is in tears, I believe.
Yes, interesting.
He said, "I'm just going to cry for real."
Interesting question on that. So Ludwig crashed out a lap ago on lap 23. The 90% rule now comes into...
He should still get points, I think.
So 20... What is it? 26 divided
10
by...
would be 2.6. So 10% would be 2.6. So you take that off 26. That's
24.
23.4. Well, it's 23 point something. So
yeah. So yes, he will actually. So Ludwig will actually be recorded as a finisher, but he will be recorded in position 5. So.
Or P5, really?
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
Because if you look at it into perspective now, the top from position 5 to position 10, that's your top 5 for F3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, your top 6 actually, sorry. And then you'd have to go down to 13th for Eric Siverton, then Adri Garcia, and then and all that. So, well, actually, no, sorry, it wouldn't be because Luca won't score points too because hasn't completed 90%. So, Bailey's 3-second advantage now becomes 31.6 second advantage over Sebastian Spicer, and Connor Paisley will take up position 3. So, interesting turn of events, and again, it's going to be a case of first-time wonders. So, Bailey won his first race on debut for F3 in Bahrain. Then Ludwig wins his first race on debut in F3 for France. I'm actually trying to think who won. Oliver won his first race on debut in Spain. Who won Monaco? I'm trying to now remember who won Monaco. That one will come back. I'll come back to that. Oh, Connor Paisley. So Connor Paisley took his first win on debut for that race. And then Canada, Adri Garcia wins on his debut race. So if pretty much now, any driver that wins this race today on track through F3 will also put their name on the record book for the first time on debut. Actually, no, sorry. No, it would only be Liam because everyone else has raced. So Liam is just continuing this trend of six different race winners that have all won a race on debut for the category. So it's quite
impressive.
It's a pretty impressive feat. And I mean, yes, F3 is a bit different because we're getting new drivers all the time, and if you look at the list of drivers right now, you've got Bailey Ford, Sebastian Spicer, Connor Paisley, Liam West, Matthew Ayler, Luca, Eduardo, Eric, Adri, Oliver, and Oliver. All these people were all registrants of F3 earlier at the start of the year. All these guys now have all moved up to F2 because of drivers that have moved to F3 as a result of time constraints or lack of activity. So most of these people right now, as Bailey Ford's I've actually completely lost track of things, and Bailey's actually just crossed the line to complete the race. I thought there was actually another lap left, so... Oh, no! Matthew's on the last lap, but where has he done it? Has he done it at the castle section, I wonder? We'll just see, because this is going to actually promote...
Ooh, yeah, it may well have been.
Let's see, coming through the castle section... No, I can't see him.
Oh, maybe it was at the curb corner.
There's no positional change just yet.
Might be at the curb. That's my guess, anyway.
Yeah, looks like it's curb corner.
Alright.
No, it's further.
Still not.
Well, either way, so we'll just watch as Liam West will now come across the line to claim the official F3 race victory. And I think actually... No, there we go. So positional change. Oh, it might have been the last corner.
Kink. It was the little kink, yeah.
So it's a Ferrari. So Liam West takes victory in the F3 category, and Ryan Connolly is going to round the last turn to make it a Ferrari 1-2. And in fact, that's the first Ferrari 1-2 in TNF1 history as well. So well done to Scuderia Ferrari to bank in their first 1-2 finish in their career. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go and grab our top 3 drivers from F3 and have a word with them. So we'll just we'll also grab Bailey as well and have a say on his result in the race itself. So and there we go. So we'll just grab our 3 drivers, which is Ryan Connolly in second, Liam West, our race winner, and Genia Bondarenko. We'll just wait and see who comes in first, and we'll have a chat with them and make sure that everyone's got their priorities set to game so that everyone can hear them this time, because I think we had an issue in F2 where Sebastian forgot to, and much like in France when there was just a awkward silence with you talking. Anyway, So we've got Genia Bondarenko here. So Genia, congratulations, P3. You got it at the end through a mistake by the championship points leader. So position 3 after a pretty hectic race. How do you feel coming into that? Just make sure sure that your audio thing is set so that we can hear you on the stream. No, nothing? Jenny, have you got us? No? Alright, well, we'll just move forward anyway while we wait for the rest of the drivers to come in. So, Ryan Connolly, P2. So, you've not only cemented another podium finish for today's F3 race, you've also helped cement Ferrari's first ever 1-2 finish. So, that must feel good.
This is going well.
I feel like I'm pulling at straws here at the moment. Okay, Bailey, can you hear us?
Yep, sure can, man.
And have you got your thing set to allow?
Yep.
Okay, so we're good. So, overall race winner. So, and you know what it's like being once being an F3 yourself, of course, at Bahrain officially when you took your first official win there as well. So, congratulations. It looked like it was kind of easy once Daniel and Ludwig kind of took themselves out of the picture. Looked like it was a pretty clean, straightforward race. And yet again, you've baffled us about your pit strategy.
It was meant to be that. I won't lie. I've hit what's that corner where Pierre Gasly just avoided Brendan Hartley.
Yeah,
Coming into there, I've braked about the 50-meter board instead of the 100, and I've just gone straight into the wall. So I lost all my front wing, and I had to come in the pits at lap 6 or 7, and that's why my strategy changed a lot. But yeah, I was pretty happy with the race. My tyres ended up getting to 80% roughly, so I had to be very careful. But yeah, it was a good race. I was happy with it.
And just looking at the statistics, like I say, with you being a former F3 driver full time yourself, so Ferrari, you helped cement for McLaren last weekend secure a 1-2 finish. Ferrari now have done a 1-2 finish to go back-to-back 1-2 finishes, which we've never had in the TNF1 history at all, and 6 different race winners in the 6 races. But every racer who's won the race in F3 have all done it on debut. So, that's quite an amazing feat. And, for you to be part of that statistic, you must be pretty honoured.
Yeah, well, to be part of any statistics, usually pretty good, I guess. So, yeah, no, I'm happy with the result. I'm happy with how I raced, and yeah, just overall pretty happy. Yeah.
And is this a telling point of what we expect to see tomorrow in F2?
Hopefully, I definitely do hope, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, thanks for your time, Bailey. It doesn't look like we have got our official race winner in here with us, unfortunately. So, Guy, we'll wrap it up. We'll do it in 2 perspectives. So, who do you think your overall driver of the day is? And that's for every driver in the field. And who do you think your F3 driver of the day is?
I think I probably would have given it to Ludwig overall, had he not wrecked it towards the end there. But I think I'd give it actually both of them to Ryan. I was very impressed today. I think had some good consistency and had a few good battles in there. And yeah, I guess P2 and for F3, it's a pretty good result.
And I thoroughly agree with that. I mean, it's a great way to, put everything into perspective. Ludwig, unfortunately, and I've known what it's like to have emotional experiences when you're in a good position and then you throw it away so close to the end of the race. Ludwig is still classified as a finisher. He will end up the weekend position 5, as will Matthew Ayler. He will be registered as a qualified finisher in position 4 and will extend his championship points lead. So that's all the time we have for today in the Transnation Formula 1 World Championship here at Azerbaijan. Of course, don't forget to tune into tomorrow at 8 a.m. New Zealand Standard Time for F1 for round 8, which is the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, of course. The tracks are always the same, it's just a difference in round numbers because, of course, F3 didn't start till Bahrain, which was three races in. Then, of course, at 11 a.m. New Zealand Standard Time for F2, with a lot going on there. Hopefully we'll have quite a big grid there ourselves. Next weekend's Grand Prix for F3 will be the Austrian Grand Prix, and we'll hope to see you there as well. Same time, same place, on your home of online motorsport around the world, YouTube. This has been Brett Keane and Guy Tasker with our podium finishers, Genia Bondarenko, Ryan Connolly, and our overall race winner, Bailey Ford. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you again tomorrow. And then, of course, for F3 viewers, we'll see you again at Azerbaijan, at Austria.